listening to the Moist Boys Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Moist Boys Podcast, our Star Wars extravaganza. We're rolling on through the Star Wars films on our way to The Rise of Skywalker, coming out this winter, or might be the last day of fall when we review it, one of the two. But today, we're doing something a little bit different because we have a little bit of a time crunch and trying to play charades with Heather.
It's fine. She doesn't want to talk into the microphone for some reason.
It's working. All right, shut up.
But yeah, today we are talking about Rogue One, the second of the Disney Star Wars films. And I feel like the only one of the four where the discussion around the discourse of the film is less interesting than the movie itself. Well, maybe not less interesting, but like, I feel like this is the only one where the movie itself is what you talk about mostly, as opposed to the other ones where there are a lot of caveats that you have to go through before you give your opinion, so you don't accidentally join the wrong YouTuber's side.
God.
I'm going to spend like 45 minutes on The Last Jedi being like, so this is not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that. It's nice.
There's some
That's
definitely...
something.
Oh, go ahead.
No, there's something really nice about being a girl that sometimes I get to just say these are my opinions without,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
those lovely caveats.
And it doesn't turn out that you hate
Women.
women.
I mean, it's rarer, but there's definitely
I
some.
mean, it does happen.
it does
There
happen.
are a
That's
lot
true.
of white women out there who hate other women. I just don't happen to be one of them.
Yeah.
Heather's one of the three good ones.
Yeah. Not all women. Not all women.
But today we're talking about Star Wars story, Rogue One. Right off the bat, I wish they had stuck with the Star Wars anthology.
Yeah.
Rogue One. I feel like a Star Wars story just makes
Yeah, it
seem
should have
less
been just
interesting.
a Star Wars. Or
Yeah, Star Wars,
Just
Rogue
a
One.
Star Wars.
A Star Wars.
This is the Star Wars.
It's a Rogue One.
It's a Rogue
Yes.
One. It's good. You watch it. Thanks.
So we've got Harley here. I'm not going to let him do his own because he always messes it up.
That is true.
Accurate.
We've got Harley here to my right.
What's up?
I'm Josh.
Hey, Josh.
I'm Kyle.
Oh, I'm JP. Sorry. See, this
always
podcast is so existential.
Yeah, right?
Who? But why am I?
I'm the best bro, Heather.
And I am Jonathan.
Ugh.
We're talking about.
Sorry. I love you, John.
Every time.
We're talking about
fine, I'm just
Rogue
gonna cry
One,
for the rest of
starring
So many
Felicity. No,
Felicity Huffman.
Did you just say Felicity?
Felicia Mone.
Starring Felicity Jones.
starring,
Diego Luna.
I was like
Alan
Diego
Tudyk.
motherfucking Luna.
Oh,
Donnie
hell
Yen.
yeah. We're going to talk about that.
We're gonna spend a half hour just talking about that man's eyes
Oh,
and what they
dreamy.
do to me.
Oh. Need a fucking robe.
so Felicity was the right one. I was
Yeah.
right.
You
No,
were-
no, you
oh,
were
you
fine.
You got the
Yeah.
first half
Okay.
right. Forrest Whitaker.
Alan
Forrest
Tudyk?
Whitaker.
Forrest
Yeah.
Whitaker. No.
Mads.
Donnie Yen.
Ooh.
Donnie Yen shall
Don-
be mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mads
Holy
Mads
cow.
Mikkelsen not in enough.
Mids Mackelson.
Riz Ahmed in it for some reason. We'll get into later.
Whoa. Yeah.
What? Shots fired.
Yep.
Not against Riz Ahmed, but anyway, I'll get into it.
Characterizations.
My main man,
Jimmy Smits.
Jimmy
Jimmy
Smith.
Smits,
And Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn.
How many more names can we say more than one time?
James Earl Jones.
There you go. There's a new one.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher's likeness.
Carrie
yeah.
Fisher's likeness.
Accurate.
That random Swedish dude that they had. Was it Swedish dude who they had in the Darth Vader costume?
Oh, the bodybuilder guy.
Yeah, the bodybuilder guy. I mean, also his likeness, but
Yeah. Genevieve O'Reilly brought back from the prequels. Prequels deleted scenes as Mon Mothma.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I think she was Mon Mothma in
Force Awakens, right?
Revenge of the Sith.
She's cut out. Those are deleted scenes. I
Are
thought.
they?
Really?
I thought she was in it.
The only
I'll have to
scene
go back
she's
and-
in is the rebellion meeting with Padme.
Oh.
So she might be walking in front of the screen like George Lucas likes to have people do in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But
I feel like
she's not
yeah.
on she's not featured at all.
Okay.
Wasn't she in any of the Senate scenes? I don't remember.
No.
Yeah, I swear to God, I have seen this woman
They could
in
have
another
fucking
movie.
E.T., but they couldn't have
They
fucking
couldn't have
Mon
Mon
Mothma.
Mothma.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and
Jesus.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch them as I should have done, for the podcast or whatever. But
Whoops.
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't watched any of these for...
we actually just rewatched. Fucking hell, the movie we're talking about today. We just recently
She was
rewatched
in
Rogue One.
Revenge of the Sith.
That's what I was
that's
saying.
right.
But then he was saying that he thinks the
Most of
curse
those
scenes
were cut out.
So I think she was more of like she's there.
Just to
but-
clarify, you're talking about Revenge of the Sith or Return of the Jedi? Because I tend
my
to get
God.
those two mixed up.
Yes, you do.
Return of the Sith.
Return of the Sith.
Return of the Sith.
Return of the Harley.
So
Revenge of the
since
Jedi.
our special
of the
guest
Codeine.
JP is on a time crunch.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Also,
Shut up, Johnny.
Yeah.
Kyle a little bit. Also, we're gonna switch things up.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Clooney's first. It'll be interesting to see if we can do Clooney's.
Bennett is very not okay with us switching things up, just so everybody's
He's not
clear.
okay with the new format. I'm sorry, everybody.
But that's too bad.
Fucking deal with it, kid.
So
He would tell you, no bad,
No bad.
no bad.
because that's what he likes to say. When I say too bad, he goes, no bad.
I get it.
Clooney's. I'm gonna keep using my sliding scale, even though Kyle called me out on that already.
Seriously. Holy
But I'm gonna give this a soft 7. Like I don't want to do like 6.8 because that's stupid.
Yeah, there's no half.
It's
there's no
definitely it's
partial
better
clearance.
than a 6.5. So I'm gonna give it a soft 7.
Yeah. I would give this a 7. I'd give this a 7 out of 10 George Clooney's as well, for reasons that I shall talk about. Either before or after we're doing this, depending on where we decide to cut it.
9. Moving on.
Yeah, there it is.
JP.
I'm gonna go with that soft 7, but a soft 7 Clooney is like holding a puppy and like
Yeah.
you want to be staying in Sunday and watching this movie.
Exactly.
9.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I thought I was gonna be the controversial one there, Kyle.
Sliding
Oh, no,
scale.
there's a
or
reason I
just
wanted to be here.
sliding scale or Kyle scale. Like that's just like 9 is like
The
this is the best
absolute.
fucking movie you've ever seen. Like
This is one of the best fucking movies I've ever seen.
oh damn, I'm interested. Okay.
Remember where
bring
you
us
won't
up,
sleep
John.
tonight.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No
You
pressure.
can join me on the couch.
No, I'm gonna swing for it. I'm going 9.
9s.
Yeah.
Nice.
Interesting.
I'm sorry. Diego Luna's, each one of his eyes gets one Clooney.
That's fair. That is at least worth 4.5.
Alan
Clooney's.
Tudyk gets another Clooney
Yes.
because
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
He is like one of my favorite actors. That's like so underrated.
Oh,
His
Yes.
work is so good.
yeah.
It is. I don't even know which one you're talking about right now, but both, yes. 100%.
Well,
Doesn't matter. Just across the board. Yes.
so the funny thing is that like I gave this a 7 pretty affectionately. Just I mean I think for this film I'm relating it to like obviously this whole Star Wars review thread. Like I'm trying to rate this movie in regards to its comparison to like the originals and like the new ones that have come out and also I guess the prequels. But like I give a 7. I give up a 7 like pretty affectionately. So I'm interested to see just how much of a rift there is from Josh's like flaccid 7 to my like rock hard 7.
See, mine was the tender 7. So
Yeah. oh,
we've got
JP's
all
7
levels.
is the one
Right-
you want to fall in love
right
with.
in the middle, right in the middle.
I'll give the first act of this movie a 9,
Yeah.
and then once they kicked Gareth Edwards' story
Yeah.
to the curb, that's when things start going off the rails.
That checks out.
I don't agree at all.
Well, because
we'll have to take this like
Yeah,
chunk by
section by
chunk
section.
to
I'm
kinda-
interested because I mean this film. I mean again, I really enjoyed this film. Again, I give a 7 pretty affectionately, considering that I think I gave like the original prequel like eights and 9s. So I mean it's up there. I think there are parts that do feel disjointed, and I think it fell victim to a lot of the reshoots and what it portrayed in its marketing initially, and what we actually ended up getting.
Yeah, it's better. It's better than Solo.
Yeah,
I'll give it
yeah.
it's good.
Uh-huh.
And again, I
Definitely.
like Solo, so yeah, same.
I have said on the podcast that my favorite Star Wars movie does not belong to the anthology. It is this movie. This is my favorite Star Wars movie that I have ever seen.
No shit.
Yeah, I absolutely love this movie. Yeah. I think that movies have a really hard time, especially when they're brought into an already existing universe, showing you characters you're only going to see once and making you care.
Yeah.
We rewatched this movie 3 days ago, and I still sobbed. I knew what was going to happen, and I still sobbed at the end. I still cried at the end because, first off, I'm a giant softie who cries at everything. Secondly, though, you care about these characters so much that, again, at the end of this movie, I was like, why? Why did we have to do this? Like, there is so many places in the universe you could have shoved them. You could have, spoiler alert, kept them alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom was the most disappointed with that. I'm like, but if they lived, then that would take away the point.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
It's
to
meant
me,
to be
it
a
doesn't
sacrifice,
because there could be spies
That's-
somewhere else in the universe. Like, and I'm very okay with.
I feel like it's part of what makes this movie good, though, is that
That they die.
you don't have to keep all these main characters
No.
alive so they
Yeah.
can come back and
Just
be
do-
wise sages or whatever the heck else. It's and they survive all these crazy situations. Like no, the giant space station blows them
up,
away as it would,
And
You know,
it's such a great death scene too.
Yeah.
I know we were gonna try to take this chunk by chunk, but we've got to admit that these were some great death scenes.
No, I mean they respected the crap out of all of these characters, which is really unfortunate because I feel like this film, honestly, and again we'll get into this later on maybe or earlier on, I don't know, but this film like gives them such respect in how they're taking out of the film, but then doesn't really do I think the legwork to set them up or give them more of a backstory. And again, I know we're gonna talk about this, but I mean I think kind of with what Josh. So I think Josh and I are gonna
There's
have
two characters that they did dirty, and I know why they did it.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll just get into it now.
Why not?
Mads Mikkelsen and Riz Ahmed cast into this film for their names.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because not just for their names, but like for their careers that they've had up to that, like the work that they've done.
They had characters that were instrumental to the plot, but didn't necessarily. They I don't think they were really expecting on giving them enough room to come through as their own like built characters, and I think that was one of my main issues for Riz because he's literally just a pilot.
You're bummed that you didn't get more of the pilot and Galen Erso?
Yes.
I feel like I got enough of Galen Erso that I needed.
Yeah.
Because he's not your main character. And
No.
it's okay to sometimes have side characters not have fully fleshed out stories. I had enough of Galen Erso's story to understand what he was doing and why he was doing it.
But I mean,
the
like
man
we don't
loved
even.
his daughter.
But I mean, we don't even get a lot of backstory with even our main characters. Like a little bit, like Jin a lot, yeah. But even with Diego Luna's character,
You're not meant to.
Yeah,
That's what makes that you like that character is that you don't know and that you get to learn with Jin.
Yeah.
His backstory.
If you give Diego Luna a backstory, then what are they going to do for the Disney Plus series that he's going to be in? If you give characters a backstory and character, then you have things that you can contradict later on.
Oh no, I just wanted to say a thing before I actually had to head out.
Yeah.
What I love about this movie, and just overall, and I'll let you sit with it and pick it apart.
Yeah.
defend yourself.
Is just how multidimensional it showed the war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
The rebellion wasn't necessarily good. How the Empire had compelling, motivating reasons for different characters, and I thought that was really interesting. Like we always thought of like, oh yeah, the Empire's obviously bad, the Rebels obviously good.
Yeah.
Not so much in this movie. Like you get a lot of depth and varying areas of gray. Mm-hmm. Other thought too is with again going back to another thing is just the representation, like how Diego. What's his name again? Sorry,
Diego Luna.
Diego Luna's showing this to his father, and his father is
thank
crying.
you for bringing this up because I was
cool.
going to bring it up.
I was like, wow, like I didn't think about the impact, but that when he said that, hit me so
That Diego
hard.
Luna's dad was like, they let you sound like you sound, and he was like, yeah, like that's okay, and he was just like. His dad starts crying because that's not a thing. That wasn't a thing. The fact that Diego Luna got to use his real accent in a Star Wars movie.
That wasn't Havana Nights.
That wasn't
Dirty
Havana
Dancing,
Nights.
which is also
It's
a great fucking film.
So now,
So
I like that.
well, our job is done here. Wrap it up.
So, like, unlike with the prequels, my issue, like, the reason, like, I gave it a 7, which is better than, like,
A flaccid 7.
70% of, like, it's better than 69% of movies.
There
But
it is.
it's one of those things where just, like, sitting in the theater, like, the other problem with it, too, which isn't really a problem with the movie, but the other problem with this movie is that I came.
They were out of popcorn.
that too, but I
My soda was bullshit.
I came into this movie right out of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Oof.
No,
It would have been.
yeah, no,
No, you did that in Solo back to back.
yeah. What was this one? This was another back-to-backer.
Kong?
I can't
King
remember.
Kong? The Kong movie?
Maybe it wasn't.
Was it
Skull Island?
Skull Island.
No.
Kong.
There's
Island.
there's a movie of
Skull Island.
untapped potential too.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't like the problems I have with like
How many more times can Josh say like, guys?
here-
brain
well-
is shutting
Well,
down.
here's the thing, guys.
well, here's the thing.
Yeah. So what the fuck are you trying to say, Josh?
it's more of a balance sheet of things that I did like and didn't like, rather than the
Yeah.
prequels where there's so much bad stuff that you just try to find the nuggets of gold within it.
This film had a lot of potential, and I think it did a lot of things right, but I think it could have done a lot more given everything it had to work with.
I think that you're
Wrong?
yes,
Bullshit.
But I think what you're bitching is about is that you wanted a long movie to be longer.
Yes.
Which,
No,
great.
it doesn't have to be longer.
No.
And what I feel like you really, what I'm gonna just interpret
No,
for
yeah.
your little brains is that you wanted a trilogy. You wanted more
No,
movie.
No.
I really didn't. Like, I really
Whoa.
like.
But you-
I like the fact that this film was self-contained. I think it just, again, I think we're gonna all kind of get into this, but I think that I had expectations for that final act, and I think they kind of chose the safe route a little bit, which is surprising for a film that you pretty much kill off all your characters. But you're giving me this look like your words are about to earn you a cry chop. But
Like they killed every character, every one of them. Except for like a couple people in spaceships.
I feel like, well, again, to touch on what JP either is going to say or has already said, depending on how we cut this off.
He's already said it.
Dude, what do you've listened back to these podcasts?
Have I?
You
Josh
know
is not
there's,
that good at editing.
you don't
It's
edit
what
this shit
JP
down.
already said.
Okay, he already said. Okay, cool. Okay, so we already gave all of our George Clooney's. Is that this film like
George
George Clooney?
our Judge Clooney's.
Or
now.
Judge Clooney. Wow.
Bum ba-dum bum.
Thum, thum, thum. Is that the Law and Order? I don't know. I'm not good at it. Anywho, I feel like this film is at its best. It fills in the nuanced cracks of the Star Wars universe in that it gives everything that's going on with the Rebellion and the Empire kind of a moral gray, which I think was so needed for the series. That just was so kind of marching along these fairly, straight, linear, black versus white archetypes. And I feel like I think honestly all my criticisms come from the fact that everything that this film had done as far as its marketing was aimed at showing us a main character who never once was really certain which side of the coin that she was on. And I think in that final act, they kind of just... I think that they gave Jen, I think, just a little bit too clear of intentions, and I think that's my main criticism.
It's not that she wasn't sure which side of the coin she was on. It's
Yeah.
that she didn't give two fucks about the coin.
True.
She didn't care. This was not a war she wanted to be involved in. She didn't care about the rebellion. She didn't care about the
Yeah.
Empire. She just wanted to be free. She
The
just
flag
wanted...
of the Empire will wave over the galaxy. It doesn't matter if you're looking down.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're looking down. She does not give two shits. She doesn't care about the coin. And what
Until
happened,
the movie needs her to.
Well, and it's not
Yeah.
that the movie needs her to. It's fine. Somebody gives her a reason to.
Yeah.
Somebody literally goes, "Your dad. This is your dad. This is your father. This is the reason you've been doing most of your life the way you have." Okay, I'm gonna give two shits now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a little bit of two shits about going to find my dad. Now my dad's gonna tell me, "Hey, I did all of this for you. You need to do this for other people. You need to give back." That is something that almost anybody can understand.
Yeah.
It's not that suddenly the movie needed her to care. It's somebody gave her a reason to care.
Well,
And she cares only about a certain point.
Yeah.
Until Diego Luna is like, hey, bitch. Backslap. Except for he doesn't because he's Diego Luna. He's a nice gentleman.
Well, he's a
Hello, Diego
gentleman.
Luna.
I think part of it is in
Love you, Diego.
the editing
Seriously.
where in two scenes that you don't see what happens in between. She goes from spoiler alert, the rebels kill her dad.
Yeah.
And she's furious. And then in the next scene, she's arguing that the rebellion stands for freedom and needs to they need to
What do
fight.
you mean it's just the next scene? No, there's a whole scene where Diego Luna is like, hey, we did bad shit, and that's what we did.
Yeah,
Because
and then,
this is what we were told to do. She's not.
and then the scene ends, and then in the next scene, she's saying that they can't stop, like they want to disband the rebellion, and she's arguing against that.
Because her
she's
dad
not-
has died for the cause, and she
And-
doesn't want that to be in vain.
And
which
she's
is
not saying break
an
up.
overarching
I don't care
theme
if you
of the
break up
movie.
your rebellion. She's like, hey, we can't not fucking do something right now. I don't care what you do after, but fucking do something right now.
But she wants to like, she's angry at the rebellion that they killed her dad. Mm-hmm. Diego Luna says, well, that sucks. The scene ends.
I mean, honestly,
And then
Diego Luna could probably very
No,
easily
it's-
sway a lot of my deep personal opinions with those fucking eyes. So
So the scene is back when they're on the ship and they're all soaking wet because Mads Mikkelsen loves scenes where he's in the rain.
I mean, I also love scenes.
And
Do you like
so they're back on the ship and
an acting
she-
in the rain?
and she says, you know, hey, you just killed my dad, motherfucker. And he's like, well, we've all lost a whole lot.
Yeah.
And
I've been
been
in this
fighting
since I
this
was-
war my whole life.
Yeah.
So don't give me a lecture about having lost a lot. Like, we're all here because we have lost everything. And then she kind of just goes, oh, yeah, and I guess I don't want that to be for nothing. And then they kind of carry that theme on through when they're about to get on the ship. And they're like, well... Donnie Yen's sitting there, and he's like, "Oh, so you're gonna go do something about it?" And she's like, "Well, with what?" And the other guy with the big old gun points over his shoulder, and everyone's standing there saying, "It'd be a real shame to come this far and then have it all be a waste because we didn't this is what we have to do."
I don't think that they didn't. Let me rephrase. I think that this film didn't go the way that I was expecting it would narratively. However, I still really like what they ended up doing, and with the recuts and the reshoots, I agree that this is a great film. I think that
Coward.
yeah, no, I mean, and again, that's yeah.
This is his hard on 7.
I know
Remember? Not
exactly.
a
No, and I
six.
gave it a strong 7. I went to this film expecting something different than what I got, and I think that I was just very easily able to see the stitches of where they did change things and make edits. However, I think that it made sense given what we were given. I just wish they maybe would have given it a little bit more time than, your dad died, I'm mad, get over it, okay. And I think, again, that just is maybe me. Maybe that is me just wanting a longer film to be longer.
Yeah, if you're going to show, to me, if you're going to show an entire character arc, there's going to be times when you have to just
to move it
do
forward.
that, or else we're going to be here. Oh, she's going to sit around sad for a while. Well, that's going to be boring to watch.
Yeah.
And then she's going to have a discussion with somebody outside the hangar looking at the sunset, and we're going to have to watch that for a while. It's
I
at
guess
a
I
certain
just-
point, you
that's-
just kind of have to.
And
That's the thing. I wish that. I think that was one of the things that bothered me too. Is I just didn't really feel like it was her choice. I just feel like she had a bunch of dudes coming up to her and saying, "Get over it and do this thing," and then that's what she ended up doing. And I don't know.
I feel like this is.
It felt like kind of a cheap bit of narrative.
It felt like a war.
Yeah.
It did. And so that's where her decision is fast. But they're in a fucking war zone, guys. They're literally moving from one battle to the next battle. Yeah. You don't have the luxury of time. You don't have the luxury of being able to sit out and look at a fucking sunset well, outside the hangar while somebody comes and has a conversation with you. You have to make the decision between here and there. And you're in a fucking spaceship. And you got to decide what you're doing. What side are you landing on now? Because you can't just walk away. You got to do what they told you to come in and work this around, and you went to your dad, and this is all the rebellion wanted you for. She could have walked away, but she had to make a decision right then on what she was going to do by the time she got back to that hangar.
And to me, that's part of what makes this a not shitty Star Wars movie is
Things move fast.
There
We're not
aren't
dwelling.
all these
Yeah.
random scenes where we're balancing on the back of giant tick dinosaurs running through a field of flowers and rolling around laughing.
I
trying
really
to
just
create a
wish she would have
romance
given us her
scene.
opinion on goddamn sand. That's all I want to know. What does Jin think
me,
about sand?
This movie is so tight. Every
Yeah.
single scene matters. Every single scene contributes to the story.
Well, that's why I gave it such a hard
And-
7, because it was so tight.
And you have character arcs for pretty much everybody, I'm going to say. Like, every character starts out somewhere
Yep.
and moves somewhere else, whether it's Cassian killing the informant in the first scene all the way to the end of, like, you know, sacrificing his life.
Yeah.
You've got, I mean,
Is that Diego
Jin's
Luna's
arc.
character, Cassian?
Yes, it's
Yeah,
Cassian.
Cassian.
You have Cassian. Cassian's arc comes almost to a peak before then, when he literally could have pulled the trigger at any point on Galen, and he
Yeah.
doesn't. And he doesn't because he's starting to already show signs of his character changing.
I will never, ever say that this film has weak characterization, because there is not a single character in this film that I don't fucking really enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
And it's got great representation.
Yeah.
That needs to be said for a Star Wars film with all these fucking fuckboys talking shit about all these main Star Wars films. This is a movie with great representation that you can't bitch about. You can't. There's characters of color. There's characters with accents. There's a woman main character. Like,
Well, those are the things that they bitch about.
I know
no,
it's the
I
things
mean,
that they
that's-
bitch about, but
That is
primary
literally, they're
concern.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's their arc, but
But I mean, it's like on the one hand, you have, you know, the all women kick ass scene in Endgame, which I love, by the way, but is very much gratuitous. But at the same time, there's the other end of the spectrum where it's like all of the representation that's here in this movie is not just like, oh, we
Look at
really need
us
to put a person of color in
represented.
here.
Yeah.
This would be
No.
a good place to stick them in. It's like, well, no, they're probably from this planet, and you know, there's
they're just there. And like, I don't really agree that it's a bunch of guys telling her to get the hell over it. They don't treat Jen any different than they treat anybody else.
Yeah.
She's a woman, but she's there. Like, she's just one of the soldiers. She's just part of this crew. She's not treated any different, and that's great representation, because a lot of times when you're not dealing with plebes, this is the representation women have in life, you know? Like, hi, we're on this wonderful podcast where I happen to be the only female voice most of the time, and yet you guys don't treat me like the only female voice.
Shut up, woman.
You know what I mean?
Unless it's as a joke.
As a joke, you know, I'm a person, and I'm viewed as a person. And this movie does that. It has people of color. Yes, it has people with accents. Yes, it has a woman, and everybody's just treated like a person.
I just wish
go
wish
ahead.
there had been, like, to kind of round out the point, like, my thing about her motivations, like, she has the Han Solo arc of wanting to go his own way, and then at the end coming back to help. Except they have a scene between him and Luke. You don't have to do it for 20 minutes. It's like a minute and a half scene where Luke's like, "This is the thing we have to do," and you're just out there for yourself, and you know, etc. Like, they have that scene. That way, when Han Solo comes back at the end, you're like, "Wait, why did he do that?"
Yeah.
Like, it's really like
It's not so much an issue of characterization for Jen. I think it's more just like narratively.
Yeah, like just in
what
a
payoff.
narrative thing of like,
Yeah.
there's just a little chunk missing on the arc there. You're just like, I guess like you have to do a lot of work to get yourself there.
Yeah.
The only scene that I think is really bad, I can't remember if they do it twice, but I wish entirely everything on Mustafar had not been in this movie. I think that was
yeah. I'm gonna agree with that. Yeah, that is a fair.
Be
criticism.
careful not to choke on your aspirations.
as he's doing a
Wait,
force joke on
what?
him.
You didn't like that? Man, we got like our first like fucking Vader dad joke.
First off, I hated the Vader dad joke.
Oh, I love that shit.
I
Of
don't
course,
know-
I imagine that you in the theater just like came as soon as he said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Johnny.
I-
I was the only one who laughed very loudly when that happened.
Oh god.
And it was yeah.
I did like that we got to go, because we don't get to see a lot of Vader's
No.
home planet, and it's just like if you've read the books or
It
if
was
you know the
such
backstory and blah
fan
blah blah.
service.
It was such. There were a
Such
couple
His fucking
things.
castle.
There were
Yes.
a couple things that were fucking
So-
fan service, and that was one of them. And you know what? I'm gonna go with out on the limb and go. I was the fan that serviced, and I'm very thankful for that.
was
Thank
cool.
you. Serve me again.
I
there
think, yeah.
also it's Red Pilot 5.
Red 5.
Red 5.
They
Yeah,
Red
specifically
5.
show him dying.
Show him dying, and that's a fan service, and I didn't care because I loved it.
Speaking of representation, Red 5 was like a chubby Asian dude. I was like, oh, did he have to be the chubby Asian dude?
Like with my, I guess all of my problems with this movie are the second act.
Yeah.
Because like the third act, with one exception that we'll get into,
was
I thought
powerful.
was really good. There's one thing that I wish they hadn't tried to they tried to fan service in too much, and it didn't work. I think the first act of this movie is what I wanted this movie to be,
Totally.
where you're introduced to these characters. They're different characters than you usually see in Star Wars. Everything's clear and laid out. And then I think it got to a point where Star Wars, where the Lucasfilm people were like, you know what? We haven't put enough references. So you got Dr. Blizjo and Zevadan or whatever the fuck they're called.
that they run to in Jeddah City.
Yeah. And he has
You
to,
just watch yourself.
I'm wanted in 12 systems. It's like, we didn't need those guys there.
I mean,
Well,
that
like, and
is
the
kind of
problem with them being there also is that like
2 seconds later, it blows
they
up.
they like shoulder check, and they're like, hey, "You watch yourself." Well, we have to leave right fucking now.
yeah, stat. I actually, so as far as fan service is concerned, like I'm a total mark here. I to a degree I fucking love it, but I actually like that inclusion only because that just sets up the precedent that fucker literally says that to everyone, and that's so funny to me.
But that's
I'm the bad Star Wars fan who had to take a minute and be like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
I still don't remember what other movie that guy's in. Nope, not at all.
He's the one that bumps into Luke,
Obi-Wan.
yeah, at the cantina, and then Obi-Wan fucking slaps.
He doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that
Okay.
guy.
Okay.
But then
Anyways.
that just like flattens out these characters.
Yeah,
Like that's his one thing.
but I mean,
Lando
that's
a
Calrissian
little
wears
immersion
capes because that's
breaking,
his only one
definitely.
thing.
But I think that's funny because you know that fucking one. Everyone knows that one stupid tough guy who literally has that one fucking line that he always falls back on.
And no matter how many trillions of light years you go,
Yes.
you always find him.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Again, it's silly
Everywhere.
that he shouldn't have been anywhere near this film. I think I was able to let that one go just because it gave me a chortle.
So real quick,
Yeah.
because I did not really get a chance to chime in as far as everybody bitching about the timeline of like her finding out what, and then like just going into
not
the
all of us were
rebellion.
bitching. Thank you very
No,
much.
I know. I'm just saying. I know. But I feel like the biggest thing that makes all of that okay to me,
Yeah.
is that like you just found out that your father helped the Empire build this weapon that is going to destroy planets.
Yeah.
And then you go and you're like, okay, well, we got to get him because he's the one who can corroborate all the evidence that this all exists. So we have to go get him. Part of that is like an assassination mission. Doesn't go through. The rebels come in, bomb the place. Just everybody gets murked. And also, just I have to really quickly, and maybe just like might just be a personal thing, but Mads Mikkelsen's like death scene is probably one of the most like effective things in this movie.
Oh yeah.
But just like
Josh
whatever.
might disagree, but
Josh is doing the bird head over here. Like,
Yeah.
yep.
But like as far as her motivation, air quotes, changing very quickly to fit the movie,
yeah.
like it doesn't though, because like you literally just got told that the Empire has a secret weapon that will destroy everything.
That you've also watched it destroy an entire city.
Yeah, you just watched it destroy an entire city plus some. So like it doesn't even matter that she wouldn't. There is no, at that point, having lived through that, just being like, well, you know, the rebellion, y'all fuck off. I don't care, because there is nowhere to run with this thing in the universe anywhere.
Which is exactly what she says in the round table.
In the
scene.
round table.
So like that is what fixes any sort of like, well, she just really changed her mind all of a sudden. It's like, no.
She just looked
She
death
knows
in
that
the face.
thing is going to
Yeah.
fucking find her wherever, and it doesn't matter where.
Yeah.
That is why she is fighting so much for the rebellion to not just disband, because it's a numbers game. The more people there are in the rebellion, the more likely they are to take this thing down before it can destroy everything. And then being told like, well, no, we're not gonna. Everybody's gonna pack up and leave.
And then she does a very effective strategy where it's, fine, then I'm going to appeal to you and the words that you use. We're going to talk about hope. We're
Yeah.
going to talk about all the shit that this rebellion has talked about for so long, and I'm going to feed this shit right back to you.
But it turns out it doesn't matter, because as soon as shit hits the fan, you all just want to walk away.
Yeah.
So that is my piece on that.
What do we all think of the soundtrack?
I don't remember a single moment of it,
I
except for
was-
the big fanfare that sounds kind of bad at the end, like someone was trying to play the Star Wars theme but then forgot halfway through. It's like ba 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 ba.
Yeah. Well, so that was one little thing I wanted to mention, actually. So I did not know this before, like the last 48 hours. So mind me, I'm kind of I did a little bit of research, but I guess the entire score for this film
Was written in like
in
a week.
Yeah, in like 2 weeks, and that is fucking insane.
That is.
And so I guess Gareth Edwards had someone that he was working with. I'm not going to remember anyone's names at this point.
Do you ever?
No. Okay. Sorry. Again, sorry, Amy Lee and Tiffany Grant. Love you both. So actually, I have it pulled up, so fuck you.
Doesn't mean you remember it, Harley.
It's Alexandre Desplat, who I guess worked with Gareth
Yeah,
Edwards on Godzilla.
firing Alexandre Desplat
Yeah.
that's a war crime.
Right? I know. But which is crazy though, because then they brought on
Michael Giacchino.
Yeah, who did? I mean, who's like had this insane, crazy like career. Like he did all like the Call of Duty soundtracks. And, like,
I mean, he's a John Williams
Yeah.
student, like literally.
absolutely. And I think that like given what time that he had, like it's a little unfortunate. It feels rushed, but like
I'm going to be the very non-music person here.
Yeah.
And scores have to be one or the other for
Yeah.
me to notice them. They either have to be John Williams level Harry Potter fucking
Like,
Star Wars
bombastic in your face,
huge
like,
scores
thrown
for
out
me to
narrative
notice
theme,
that there's
yeah.
music happening at all, or they have to fucking suck.
Yeah.
And they have to be terrible. So the fact that I did not there was music in this, I'm sure, but I don't remember it.
It
Doesn't
didn't-
mean that it was bad, and it doesn't mean it was good. It was just
it didn't suck. It didn't fucking suck at all. Like it was very middle of the road. And I guess just like I had learned that tidbit, and then I was like, oh shit, really? And then I tried to think of like, oh, that's cool. I guess I actually listened to the score on the way down. I was like, okay, well, what do I remember from this? And I was like,
none of this.
none of it.
That's
None of it.
Like
the
that province
problem,
in Canada.
Like
None
the
of it.
problem is that like it works. So again, we just watched the movie like a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and like I was thinking about that. Like by the end of the movie, I was like, try to recall anything from the score.
No.
But then like once I actively like had that thought in my brain, I was like actually like listening to it, and in the movie, it all works.
It's perfect for the film.
It's perfect for the film, and
it just doesn't feel like a Star Wars score, I guess.
which is fine because like I feel like the Star Wars score is tied so heavily to that like
Original.
Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
That like doing, which is why I love so much about this movie, that it just like cold opens.
Yeah, no
Crawl, like
right?
it's like yes, do that by all means. This is amazing. But like the score itself, like I don't know. I don't listen to the fucking like Williams score just in my day to day either, but like
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
That'd be crazy. That'd be nuts.
but like so I feel like there's yes, he has iconic scores that everybody knows, and as soon as you hear them, you recognize them. You're like, this from that movie, but not every single movie score needs to be that.
I think for what it was subtle, and I think that's good. I guess I just was again, like I am totally bringing any of this up just for the fact that we are doing a podcast. Like I didn't really look into that or know a lot of that detail like before the last 48 hours. So
Can we talk about that opening for a second?
Hell yeah.
Because I love that they didn't do a scroll.
Same.
But they tricked me for half a second.
Yep.
Because it's the bright, it's the black, and then there's what turns out to be the ring. But the way they didn't film the ring, but the way that they animated this ring, it looked like the scroll from a different movie going by. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like you're underneath the scroll from the regular movies. And then
isn't the difference from this one that it goes up instead of down or something like that? Isn't it all like in all the Star Wars movies, the camera fades,
it pans down.
Yeah.
afterwards,
I think
and
this
in
one, like, it goes up.
It goes up, and I loved that it was like that was really cool to me because it tricked my brain for almost a second, being like, "Is that the scroll? Is that the Star Wars scroll? No, that's
just
a ring
way
from a
out
planet.
there. Yeah.
Calm down, Heather. It's a fucking ring from a
Like,
planet."
I remember
as it
having
turns
that
out, the
same-
scrolls from all of the movies are actually ships, just like flying
Flying
through
around.
space
Yeah.
in different directions.
I also really like that it made me ask a physics question, a space question, where I was like, would the rings on planets cause shadows on the planet like that? Because I was like, I've never thought about that before. Does Saturn have a shadow on it from its rings?
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's cool.
It's like clouds casting shadow.
Yeah, I liked it.
I'll say.
What do you think about the ring, Josh?
I've never seen it. That little girl scares me too much.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Fuck
that
shit.
noise.
Also, never watched The Grudge.
Oh no. What about what about the new Grudge?
No,
The Grudge returns.
I don't watch them.
It's
grudge harder.
John Cho, directed by somebody, but I can't remember.
No,
who at the
I'm
moment.
good because all I can hear in some of my nightmares are
I actually hid in someone's like little what is it?
Fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't
so
care. I don't care enough to even.
Star Wars Rogue One
Yep.
with the digital faces. Princess Leia looks
Tarkin.
terrible.
Oh yeah.
I really liked I wish they had just left her from the back.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that's
just really wish
For
'cause
both
that's-
of them.
That's what
I
broke
just
my
really
heart.
was
yeah.
okay with it
When
because
they
I was like,
first
"Ooh, I don't know who this
introduced-
is, but her likeness is great. I love this." And then she turns, and Jonathan said it after we watched it the second time or this last time, and it was just a second too long. They focused on her face for a second too long. If it had been really fast and her just being like turning and going hope, and then it being done, like it would have been perfect.
Smash cut for sure.
Yeah.
That shot just lingers just a little bit.
They did that though for
Lingers.
Tarkin for like the first scene with Tarkin. He
Yeah.
was literally
A reflection in the window.
a reflection in the window, and it totally took away any of the uncanny valleyness.
I was like,
about
hey,
it.
this is really cool.
Yeah,
And
I-
then they didn't stop. And,
And
then he
then
turns around.
that's-
And then his rubber mask face starts floating through
how
the.
else are you gonna do
Well, you're
Death
not.
Star scenes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
you
is
can't
no
not
other
have
option.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tarkin's he's
on
on
a
a
vacation.
He's in the other room
but
while
I
we're
just-
firing a gun.
Lord Vader
like-
gave him a 2-week vacation. He'll be back.
They could have just they could have just been fucking not cowards and just taken like the artistic liberties just to never have him fully like in shot. Like they could have had
Yeah,
him
just have
in the
reflection.
window. Yeah, or like a
I think
reflection
that
on
would've been
Because
way
nobody
worse.
would
That
have
would've
fucking
made
bitched
no
about that
fucking
shit.
sense.
No.
If
Are we gonna
every
do like
conversation that
like
he
a
had with
Tool-Time
anybody.
neighbor where he's like standing behind the
Yes!
fence all
Yes!
the time? You think that's
But
gonna
like
look
they
better?
could
I
have
don't
done
know,
it in
just-
like an artistic and interesting way where it just was never like a full shot. And I think like everyone fucking knows who it is and why he's in the film and why he's a fucking CGI rubber ass looking puppet. Like
I don't think he
problem
looks
is,
that
though,
bad.
like-
pretty good.
I don't think he
it
looked that
takes me-
bad.
and the thing is that that's the problem. Is that with that, like, I just don't like that concept at all of throwing somebody who is no longer with us into a film because they were in prior films, and if they're gonna do it, like, I don't know.
Did you think that they should have just make-upped somebody to look like him?
You could just have him somewhere else in the galaxy. The galaxy's a
Yeah.
big place.
It's the fucking
This
Death
is dealing
Star.
with the Death Star.
It's the fucking
Why
Death
would he
Star.
be
You're not
anywhere
gonna have
else?
Tarkin and Death Star? Like,
because of the
I mean, he
narrative
wasn't born when the Death Star was starting to be built. Like,
because of the fact that the Death Star is like the crux of this entire story. I understand Tarkin. However, I wish they would have done it differently.
You know, he wasn't in that many scenes either. And honestly,
But
if
all
you
the
didn't
scenes
know
that
the man was dead, you wouldn't have. I don't think he looks that bad.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. It's
I thought he
not.
looked like a person.
It's not good. I mean, it's not. Again, like it's an incredible technology, and the fact that they can make a full person and actually have it be like, oh, is that? Oh yeah, no, that is. Like the fact that you have to take a split second to figure out that this is not a real human being on film, like that is impressive. But I just think it's never gonna look. It's never not going to be somewhat distracting, and it's only going to get worse. Like if we're talking about this film 10 years from now, we're all going to be like, oh my god, remember 2016 graphics, fucking Tarkin. And again, I think that the fact that it was on the Death Star makes the requirement of having Tarkin in the film okay. But I think the fact that they did that same thing and de-aged Carrie Fisher for me was the worst.
The Leia was definitely a mistake.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Unquestionably a mistake.
and then it doesn't make sense. Like, okay, have Tarkin be in there, but why would you then give half of Tarkin's scenes to Ben Mendelsohn?
Yeah.
Pick one or the other. Is it Tarkin that's in charge of the Death Star, or is it
Isn't
Ben
that a big
Mendelsohn?
part of the storyline, though, is that he's having this crowning achievement
Kind
taken
of a
from
coup.
him, and this
Yeah.
is sort of
And
his
if you're
character
bitching
arc.
about the limited amount of scenes that they put Tarkin in, like, could you imagine if they had put him in all of it?
I mean,
I
I'm in
honestly-
team. Don't put him in.
I feel like they could have just done it over comms or something, or just like had them even have it be like a
Hologram?
Yeah, that would have been.
You know,
I
like the
just feel-
Emperor in the original.
I would have been totally fucking fine with that, and that actually would have given some sort of like in narrative excuse or reason for why he looks.
Why would he not be operating the Death?
Because
there's just no
There's
reason
a
you
billion
can come up
planets
with
that he could be in charge of.
Yeah, no, that would be.
But
This is
this
taking
is
place
the Death Star.
immediately
This is
before
the
Alderaan.
Emperor's,
This is
like,
days
This is
before.
his blitzkrieg. Like, this is it. Like,
But
this,
who
Well,
is
just have
Grand
him be
Moff
on his.
Tarkin?
Just have him be on his way. I guess, like obviously, light. Yeah,
I
obviously,
feel like all
light.
of this would be way cornier than the slight reversal in Jin on the starship that we were all whining about just a little bit ago. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
But like,
I guess it just like having Tarkin on there doesn't really
and
matter.
the only
to the
payoff for
narrative.
that is the Darth Vader scene. Like,
Yeah.
that's him being in this is just so they can go to Mustafar, and then that's it. Like, there's no impact other than having that scene.
Wait, who?
What?
Yeah. Wait.
Who are you
Grand
talking
Moff-
about?
The only impact that Grand Moff Tarkin has in this is that Ben Mendelsohn goes to Mustafar so you can have Darth Vader.
He forces him to operate the weapon to show the test.
on Jeddah. He starts to take it from him, which like leads him to going fucking crazy. He also gives him the hint that there's a spy among him, which leads them to Galen Erso.
I don't track the
completely-
Mustafar, but I still just don't
But-
necessarily think they had to have Tarkin in the film
Okay.
the way that they had. But that's again,
Anyway,
that's just
so-
me
so
being
Donnie Yen.
contrarian about. I just don't like fake CG people.
So I
didn't like what they did with Tupac. I didn't like the fact that they had him touring again, and I just don't like this move to not just either like creating new characters or just
Which they did.
Yeah.
With
Again, it
Ben
shouldn't-
Mendelsohn's character.
Yeah, I
They
don't
did,
know.
and he ran most of this. Tarkin's in like what 3 fucking scenes?
Yeah.
So the issue. So
So you're bitching about
So-
3 scenes.
And
So
those
here-
3 scenes totally take me out of the film. So I'm like, yeah, that's a CGI person.
so you have to remember
Yeah.
that yes,
I don't have to do
when,
a goddamn thing.
Okay, well, fuck right off then. So at its genesis, Tarkin was in charge of this whole thing. Tarkin is essentially, I'm going to put this in like retail terms.
I was gonna say, can we do retail terms? So it's fucking
Darth
store
Vader.
manager.
So like the Emperor, he's I'm gonna
Like
go
district
low,
manager.
I'm gonna go.
Emperor is the regional manager.
Yeah.
Vader is the district manager.
Checks out.
Tarkin is the store manager.
Yeah.
The store manager manages operations of the store.
Yeah.
The store being the Empire.
Checks out.
And in this case, specifically the creation of the Death Star. So yes, he is there at the beginning of it, at its genesis, but then
he delegates shit out.
he delegates it to Ben Mendelsohn,
who does the actual
who then
fucking
does the work, and then Tarkin is like, cool, thank you for doing that work for me.
I will now
This is
take all
my
the
thing
credit.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, we made sales? That's my
Yeah.
achievement. Thank you. Let me go tell the district manager.
That is why Tarkin is in this movie. That is why Ben Mendelsohn's character is in this movie. Those are their roles.
They're middle management, guys.
I mean,
They replace generals so quickly in Star Wars. Why didn't they just end up killing off Ben Mendelsohn and then saying, like, have Tarkin be the end credit
Yeah.
stinger, and just have him be the one to be like, oh, I guess I need to go be on the Death Star now, and then I don't know. I think they just could have done it in a more interesting way, but again,
The
I
character
think
arc
I'm just,
of Ben Mendelsohn, though, would have been so much less compelling if he hadn't had his crowning achieve. I think he even says, like, this is my, whatever, and you're not going to take it from me. And
Yeah, and he's like, I deserve an audience because I just built this.
the adversary of the whole movie would be much less convincing if it was just like, I have this weapon. Let's go blow stuff up.
But that is so Star Wars, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Just, like,
and he
twirling
ki-
his
and he kind of
mustache.
does that anyways, and that
And-
could have just been between
because
him
it's
and Galen.
not so Star Wars, that's what makes this movie better than
Yeah.
all the other Star
But
Wars
then if you have too many
movies.
scenes between Galen and Ben Mendelsohn, then that really puts the novelists in a real big corner when they release the Galen Erso book,
Yeah,
where you
that's
have
true.
to learn about why any of this happens.
That's true.
And that's, I think,
What do you mean, why any of this happens? He tells you why it all fucking happens. There's literally a scene with him explaining it. There's two, technically. There's a scene in the beginning when he explains why he's not going back and explaining this to his daughter. And there's a scene later when he's dying where he fucking explains what he did. Oh, and there's the hologram scene where he explains what he fucking did.
where they finally fix the Death Star.
Yeah, the what is it? The filtration system or whatever. The little
It was
things.
it was a vent.
Exhaust.
An
Vent.
exhaust
Yeah.
vent.
Exhaust vent.
Yeah.
So I had initially on the podcast talked about how the way that the Death Star blows up was fine before Rogue One came out.
Yeah.
And I still do stand by that.
Yeah.
With the caveat of, so I feel like the first time I watched Rogue One, that was really the only thing that bugged me about the movie was him like saying that he built this like
weakness into
weakness
the system.
into it.
Really?
Because
I like
what
that.
my initial viewing was that like, oh, what I thought what they were saying in that is that like, he put a hole in the side of the Death Star so that a laser could get shot through it or something like that.
And they definitely set it up. But they wrote it vague enough that everyone would be happy with the the
Yeah.
answer.
Well, sort of, but like the way he actually words the message is that he has put a trap in it so that if anything happens to the reactor, it's a chain reaction.
Yeah.
The whole thing goes down.
Yeah.
There's no fixing it from that point. You just
Which
need
not like
one
does it-
thing.
It's
Yeah.
not like you just push the button in the air filtration system or whatever, and then it all blows up.
Yeah,
Like, this is something
and
that's
that is
wired
something
to-
that's not built into. They build it so if a reactor goes down, there are
There are fail-safes.
There
There
are
are
fail-safes.
fail-safes. Yeah.
So that the
Took
whole
out
shit,
the
he
fail-safes.
did it on purpose.
I think there's a show about that recently where that's not the case.
Chernobyl. Checks. I still haven't seen it, but I want to.
But like,
We learned our lesson. Star Wars sets later.
Yeah, I know. I keep hearing. Yeah.
but the point of it was that he made sure there are no fail safes and that there are actually the exact opposite of fail safes.
Yeah.
And he also buried it so deep that no one is going to
Yeah,
find
if you
it.
find like one thing, just be like, nope, that all looks fine.
It
But
all
it's
checks
like
out.
the meshing together is it's
And
a bomb.
honestly, I think it's fine with him having. I like the fact that Luke has to use the Force to get that fucking laser to go through that
yeah,
exhaust vent because
Like,
there's
it's
no other way it
still-
would.
it's still
it still has
to-
to be the Force. But I like that he is the reason they know about this weakness, because if they had just stolen the plans, tell me how many fucking engineers it would have taken to look at these plans over a huge amount of time to be like, and I found it. Oh, there it is. Okay. They would never have looked at the plans and been like, well, there's an exhaust vent there. We could try shooting something in it and see what happens.
yeah. Like because if the Empire's engineers would never be able to find the weakness, just handing the plans to somebody,
No
be like,
one else would have been.
figure it out,
Yeah.
fuckers.
I believe in you.
Yeah.
Like he had to actually tell somebody.
He had to.
I think that like I don't know. This was like one of the few times where I think the writers, Gareth Edwards. I don't know if it was Gareth Edwards per se, or like who ended up actually writing the film and including that little piece of narrative. But like, I think this was one of the first times that a big studio film listened to like some of the conspiracy theories and like
The worst nerds on the internet.
the worst nerds on the internet, and like actually gave us something that not only worked but actually made it all kind of make more sense. It was like it was a piece of fan service that I think actually worked really fucking well.
It's part of why I enjoyed this movie so
Yeah.
much, because it's a story I never wanted to see. Why would I go see the history of the Death Star plans? It's one line in A New Hope that doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Who cares? And
I
then they
mean,
came
but-
out with this great movie from it, and that's
but
part
also
of the...
on the flip side of that coin, the Clone Wars were also only one line from
Hey,
the original
Harley,
film, so-
where's your microphone?
Yeah, wait, why is it? Yeah, there we go. Okay, sorry. I was trying to look at Kyle what I said. Anyways, I'll re-say what I said again.
He can
'cause I
hear you
guess I
better
was-
when you're talking into the microphone.
I guess I was not facing my face at the thing that picks up my face words.
There
but,
you go. So,
I-
hey, Harley, shut up for a minute. So,
I'm gonna eat a hot dog.
do it.
The Clone
so-
Wars is besides the point. We all hate those movies. We don't need to talk about them and why they suck.
Oh, he's talking about the show.
I did that show too.
Jesus Christ. But so turning now to something that I'm pretty sure is universally a positive that Kyle has tried to bring up. God, you son of a bitch! Don't you fucking dare!
I'm just gonna say now, if y'all want any olives, the kid's stealing.
He's stealing all the olives. Donnie Yen is
Yes.
the fucking man.
Yes.
That whole like those two characters and their friendship is so interesting to me, and honestly, the fact that we haven't gotten anything like any show or any other piece of media that just like highlights that is kind of a travesty. 'cause
Or even not the specific characters, but just the order of priests or whatever, the sort of religious history of Jedi and the Force, and it's always these warrior monk type of people, and never this sort of like religious history, whatever. I think it'd be very interesting.
What I like specifically about them is that it shows. First of all, we get Diego Luna gives us a name drop of the Wills, which fun little nugget there. But it
That was great video content between the two of you, and thanks for that.
thumbs up.
my mouth was full.
Your mouth was full, but
Hell yeah on the Wills.
yeah, showing that like the idea of the Force being something that I feel like the original trilogy kind of dives into a little bit more than like the prequels, where the prequels made it just like
With the-
a
with
very
the
select
meta-
few are born
meta-
into
meta-
this.
Midichlorian.
Yeah.
Midichlorians.
Mitochondria.
The the powerhouse of the cell.
Yes.
Whereas like the Force is something that maybe in one aspect is something that like anybody can tap into. You just have to believe. Killed Harley.
Fuck you for that.
But it's something that like is it's not just like an elite few who just get to be a part of the Force, but it's
Yeah.
like the Force is literally through and around everything, and that like anybody can harness that.
And it's not just his character that shows that. Jin's mom literally tells her to remember the Force.
Yeah.
And like it's an overarching thing in the entire movie is that these Joe Schmo nobody pilots and ground troops are tapping into the Force.
Yeah.
And like you said, it being much more of like a religious history thing as opposed to just like superpowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Well,
it's
I mean,
much
it-
more interesting in that aspect, and as opposed to just being like, and then he leapt off a building, but he was fine.
Yeah.
Because midichlorians.
I think it makes sense too to have like you have people who are like Force sensitive or like can like have and tap into like certain aspects of the Force. But then you, of course, like still have the Jedi, who are basically just like your crazy like prodigies who are kind of like, I don't know, kind of freaks of nature.
Yeah.
Who have kind of these superpowers per se. But it adds another, I think, layer to the Force and
Well,
the universe.
that makes me think of a interesting thing based on what we've learned in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
When people talk about people being able to use the Force well, they always talk about how strong they are. But wouldn't it be the opposite though? Like where they're completely weak-willed and the Force just has their way with them?
Yeah.
Because like it's mentioned several times, like you don't use the Force.
The Force uses you.
Yeah. So it's
I'm
not.
with the Force and the Force is with me.
But it's like people always talk about, oh, Anakin was so strong in the Force, which means like he was
He
just like
really
a weak-willed
wasn't, though.
dupe.
But I mean, like, if you think about it, that actually makes probably the most sense poetically, considering that both the Jedi and the Sith were kind of doomed to, like, consume themselves and or consume the world around them.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of the prequels, was that the Jedi just fell victim to their arrogance.
Yeah,
I
their
think it's
own
hubris
their
in
own
their-
power, their own.
Yeah.
Well, that's
they
just.
were.
I mean, that's just like real world.
Yeah.
When people talk about like when people complain like, oh, a specific character that we'll talk about in a different film is too overpowered, and I was just got me thinking of
Well, I think
not really with like the way the Force works. You don't bend it to your will. You like.
I think
let
it's
it
more
do
of
what
like
you do.
a saying somebody is.
Floats really well, like when you go to the pool and man, you're really powerful at floating.
you can really use the water.
I
No,
think
the water
more in a
uses
sense
me.
of, more in a sense of like swimming,
Yeah.
where like somebody
Tell us all
saying
about
somebody
swimming,
is like
Johnny.
shut the fuck up. Saying somebody is like strong with the Force is that it's somebody who can tap in and manipulate and not necessarily like
But
in the sense of like using like it's not
you're not really
in the sense of like
manipulating
using it as
though.
like a tool. It's more of like a
You are channeling.
channeling. Yeah.
It's like electricity.
But that still doesn't say that you're like. I wouldn't say someone that's good at having letting things take over their bodies would be strong. I don't know.
I don't think it's looked at in universe as a taking over of somebody's body. It's,
You're not giving up anonymity. You're still making
Yeah.
your own
It's
choices.
them.
But
it's
it can
almost them using that. It's them
autonomy,
directing.
not anonymity. Anonymity.
Don't hurt yourself, Harley.
Autonomy.
Autonomy.
Oh my god!
Adirondack.
Do you like a synonym roll?
Epitome.
I mean, what else would you call that?
Epitome. Yeah.
Oh, fuck you. Was that me? I think, was that you?
It was me.
Yeah.
I did it.
Real quick.
The battles. Can we talk especially
yeah.
about
Yeah.
the
God, they were
last battle?
terrible.
So the first bombs going off on the fucking islands.
Are we blind?
Yes. It would just set off like not a chain reaction. It was just gorgeous, and then it just kept getting better every time a freaking new aspect of these battles came in. The freaking walkers coming out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and it was just like holy fucking
And they have
shit.
like moss on them because they're disused and they've never used this garrison before, and they're just getting wasted by these,
That
these few
whole
people
ending
causing.
battle is
Is so beautiful.
incredible. And again, I think it really does like spoilers, everyone fucking dies, and every single scene is powerful, and like I think
Nobody's death is
No,
just
it doesn't
they
feel
just
like-
kill them and move on. Like it's everybody's death has
except for kind of Reese again.
Reese Ahmed, he gets
he gets
the
a
short
little
end
bit
of
of
this.
a-
He gets the short end of this movie.
I wish they would have given him a little bit more of like a triumphant fuck you. Again, like
I mean, what he does is
it's pretty cool.
integral.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like when it's
not cinematic, though.
No.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
theater, like I mean, that's
It
whatever.
can't-
Not everything can be fucking cinematic, I
Yeah.
guess. But like,
unless you're in the movie.
Yeah, unless you're in the cinema.
Okay, Martin Scorsese over
Yeah.
here.
Oh, fuck off. But at least like the thing that he does has
Yeah.
a purpose,
It's
and
very
it's not just
important,
like
too.
it's because there have definitely been movies where it's like the team is going in, and then like, oh no, this guy who is like, I got to do the thing before I die, and then they just don't, and you're like, what the fuck was that even in the movie? At least they didn't do that to him.
No.
yeah,
no.
he got to like talk to them. He got
yeah.
to be like, I did it.
everyone got to serve their purpose. And
Were we talking? We were talking about Kong Skull Island a couple minutes
We
ago,
sure
right?
were, yeah.
That has a bunch of that.
All those people get fucking just murked.
Which there was only one time. Well, anyway, Kong Skull Island tangent, real quick.
Yeah.
The only wasted one of those is Shea Wiggum, which
Oh, absolutely.
it's only disappointing because it's one Shea Wiggum and he's absolutely wasted.
Yeah.
Of like don't do it that way. Like if you're gonna do something, like don't do it that way.
Did he just
That's
get yeeted into the side of a cliff like while he's holding a grenade?
He's got like a whole bandolier, I want to say, of grenades.
Yeah, that's what it
and
is.
it's like a whole buildup, and then like he just accidentally gets stepped on or gets yeeted by one of the monster things. It's just like you had 3 monsters, and you couldn't have just like he couldn't have done even like a little something or other. But
Yeah.
that
Between that and then like
that's a movie
John
of wasted
Goodman,
potential.
like,
That's a movie of wasted potential all around. But that's not the one we're talking about. No. This is the one we're talking about. The only thing with... I wish they had given Riz Ahmed one thing to do in the movie that is related to his character at all. Either give him something to do or maybe take out one of the 30 times that he says that I'm the pilot.
yeah,
I think
that's fair.
I think because he never gets to fly a ship, which is kind of sad. But
Maybe the tentacle monster fried his brain too bad to where he couldn't pilot anymore.
that scene was weird too.
Yeah, that
was not necessary.
exactly. That,
That's one I'll give you. That was
I
not a
need to make
necessary
sure you're
scene.
telling me the truth, so we're gonna spend a whole bunch of SFX money right here, and then just
And
not really
he said
mention
it's
it
gonna
all
make him
anymore.
go crazy. Like the
And then he
unfortunate
doesn't.
satisfier is that you lose your brain, your mind. And it's like, but he didn't. But he didn't. Like,
So, I mean,
he
maybe
was
like a
kind
hot
of. He
second.
was for half. But
like
then
5
they
minutes.
snapped him out of it real
Maybe-
fast.
and maybe that's kind of part of his character arc. Is he's going from like this useless Empire stooge to like this hero who sacrifices his life, but
He
Yeah,
develops
we're-
his own
we're-
anonymity.
yeah, we're definitely approaching Mustafar Lava Castle levels of just like why.
I mean, just like I think like my issues with this movie are not big structural issues. They are 5 little scenes that you write into your script before you start filming, before filming has ended, and then not going back at the end and reshooting 60% of it. But like that's why this movie gets a 7 and not like the prequels, because like it's not huge things. It's just like there's just enough tiny little cuts that I'm just like it just doesn't. I'm not as satisfied as I could be with this movie.
Speaking of also going back to Kyle's, like, let's talk about the battles and how gorgeous they were, because y'all did not appreciate them long enough for me and Kyle. I can feel. All right,
I mean, are we going to talk about Darth Vader at
Let's
some point?
talk about when they used the Death Star on the city on Jeddah, and then again on the base, and like them seeing the folding, the like Earth coming up, and it's just like that was gorgeous.
That was
and
a
they
spectacle.
punch it out of Jeddah into light speed, like on a planet which is not even supposed to be possible-ish, as their like wave curling surf barrel roll thing is like coming over them.
Well, and
It
you
was
know that they're
really
not
fucking
supposed to do it because he's like, I haven't finished my calculation. Fuck your calculations. Let's just fucking go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if we crash into a planet right now. I just don't want to be crushed right here.
Into this planet.
Yeah, it
Gareth
is just gorgeous.
Gareth Edwards did a real good job directing it. Like again, like my problems with this aren't like big. Everything needs.
We're
So
done
it's just
talking
like,
about your problems.
God damn it,
Save it for your
done.
fucking therapist.
We're done. We're done when I say I'm done.
There it is. You will sit here and you will listen. God damn it.
But
Can-
just a little.
I have not heard you bitch about a robot, Josh. Usually in Star Wars movies, Josh hates
The
the,
droids are
the
like your
sassy
least-
droids.
Because-
in the
because-
prequels,
yeah.
just because it makes every time it makes R2D2 less special and less, yeah.
Okay, this is during an R2D2. R2D2 was a thing right now. Like,
But he only talks to like 3 people.
I feel
He's
like-
not going on a billion adventures. He's not like.
but he's,
I mean,
I know, but he's
In
sassy.
universe,
Wait.
he has definitely been on
Gonna
more
pay
than
it.
one mission.
Yeah.
We're talking about K2SO.
K2SO.
I feel
I was
like,
gonna say, like
And
R2D2
his
is not in this
sassy
fucking
ass
film.
shit and his
But that was
all
only
of
a
his
recent
like
is.
digs at
Is he?
Jin the entire fucking time.
That was like
I
a recent thing.
I like his characters.
I feel
love his
like
characterization.
the comic relief android assistant is handled much better in this Star Wars story than a certain other Star Wars
What
story.
I like about this one is that he's still very robotic, unlike another Star Wars story
Yes.
we
Yeah.
could talk about. Where she's definitely got human emotions,
and they're
she's-
just trying way too hard to make it funny in that
Yeah.
one. This
Yeah.
one,
Where
it's more
he-
like
it's-
it's just a little snark, a little quirk in my
dry
programming,
humor.
and
It's
I
very
still
dry humor, and it's just that I think she. Do you know that? Do you want to know the chances of her shooting you with that?
Well,
I could tell you.
And it's him speaking his mind, which is kind of framed out. It's not this like, I mean, it is cool in our other unmentioned movie where, it explains why the Millennium Falcon is special, is because there's this emotion and this intelligence integrated into it. But
I'm just gonna say spoilers right now. Leet is the Millennium Falcon.
they just cannot.
Millennium Falcon is lead.
What?
I don't know. They just try so hard to make it funny, and
Yeah.
it's like it's just so cringy sometimes.
Yeah.
Whereas
Whereas-
in this one, he's another character, and the movie is very serious overall. I would say more serious than most Star Wars movies, but they have just the right amount of this funny assistant to kind of
Well, and
lighten it up a little bit.
I think his characterization too in this film is probably the most like modern of a droid in that like just the snark, the kind of the irreverence. I think kind of lands pretty easily with a lot of their target audience.
So
And it's
one-
Alan. What's his name?
Alan
Which is
Tudyk.
just
Alan
awesome.
Tudyk.
yeah, who's
So-
amazing. Who's amazing.
One thing that I will say, watching it a second time,
Weaselton.
Wesselton.
No, it's Duke Weaselton.
Oh, okay. Watching it the second time, and we talked about him a little bit, but Forrest Whitaker
Yeah.
did not bug me as much the second time I watched the movie as it did
What?
the first time. Like the first time,
How did Forrest Whitaker can be in my fucking soup and I would love it.
but like when
I don't
when
know.
like
I don't fucking care. I'm not gonna explain myself.
Okay.
I want Forrest
Make
Whitaker
that
in
what you
everything.
will.
the least explanation on that as possible would be great.
Just a little
like-
cream in his soup.
I
Yeah.
just ooh.
Oh
I
God,
no.
what did I just say?
See, that's the fucked up thing because I was thinking like fucking Sirius Black, like him talking to me from my soup, like Harley, you need to go do the thing because I'm.
But like the scene where
Fucking
like he's
animals.
talking to Jin on Jeddah and he's like, "Have you come here to kill me?"
Yeah.
And like that, like in the theater, it was like, "This guy's an Oscar winner, though, and this is the take you used." Like it wasn't as bad watching it.
Yeah.
The second time, like the first time was like,
There's a little bit
"Oh,
of overacting.
Oh God.
But that's the thing. Like I feel like that's another. Just the entire scene.
Harley. Love your mic.
I feel
There you
like that
go.
is
That's the
another.
one.
Man, I'm sorry. I don't know why am I so bad at that because I think I'm just looking at all y'all being like, no, this is my
Literally,
thing.
you lean back.
I know. I had it back. Here we go. Okay. I literally cannot lean any further back, and the mic is like right on my face. I feel like the scenes with Forrest Whitaker's character help. What's his name?
Saw Gerrero.
Saw Gerrera.
Guerrera.
Guerrera.
Saul
Guerrera.
Guerrera. Saul Guerrera. God damn it, Heather. I feel like they were going for something different than what actually ended up getting put to film, and for some reason,
they got left in the film.
yeah,
from
maybe
the first draft.
I
Yeah.
feel like they gave Forrest Whitaker the lines, and he was like,
Okay.
"I got this," and they
Yeah.
were like, "No, could you do this?" And he was like,
Nope.
"Nope."
No.
I have
This
done
is
my
how-
take. I bid you a good day.
He's
I
like,
bid you a
Where's
good
my
day.
me
Yeah.
and my friend here want me to do the movie this way as
Yes.
he's holding his Oscar.
You're right. Yeah. I don't know. I was really excited for his inclusion just because, again, as I've made it very clear, I fucking love Forrest Whitaker, but it did feel a little bit off. And then when they did kind of take him out of the film pretty early on, I was like, not actually as mad as I thought
Well,
I'd be.
part
about
of it was they had included him in the film, and then
in the
at some
marketing,
point,
like in all the marketing too.
But then at some point they had decided that he was going to be in Rebels, and they realized that if they put too much in the movie, then they would contradict things that were going to be in the TV show, so they had to
Yeah.
cut it short a little bit.
That checks out.
It's like,
So you just mentioned marketing again, and I'm gonna go on a little rant.
Go on a
really
rant.
fast. My little rant of why I don't watch previews, and
Yeah.
I know, gasp.
this is a
from
good
our-
movie not to watch the trailer for.
No,
Yeah,
that's
so
and
but I
this
don't.
film made me not. This film was the film that was like, I am not gonna fucking watch
So
trailers
I
anymore.
don't watch trailers for movies I'm already excited about.
Yep.
If it's a Star Wars movie, I'm gonna fucking see it. I don't need to know. Like I'll watch one trailer.
They have their money. They
I
already have my
won't
money.
even read the back of the box or the description on HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it drives my wife nuts.
Yep,
Okay, well, I'm
same.
glad I'm not the only one because I have so literally I think it's been like 2, 3. It's been a couple of years now where I've stopped doing this. Like if it's a movie I'm already gonna fucking see, I don't need to watch a trailer. Don't give me any spoilers. I want nothing. I'm already good. You already have my money. Do not give me any free entertainment. And this is a really good reason for why I don't watch trailers is because I don't want to come into. I didn't come into Rogue One with any expectations.
I had a lot of baggage going in because I was very excited for it and had a lot of my own like head canon built. So I think that was the problem.
Yeah, so I didn't,
me,
and I didn't because I didn't. I just knew it was a Star Wars movie. I knew it was about finding the Death Star plan to the end. That's all I needed. Thank you. I will read my book now. I will watch this movie. I don't care.
Checks out.
Just give me the content I already want. And this is why I feel like. And I love our podcast. Please listen to us on our other podcast, His Dork Materials, where we do trailer reviews. But
I haven't wanted to watch any of the trailers I've had to watch for doing this podcast just because like I don't want to really spoil it for myself.
yeah,
but
I feel like in this day and age, and
Oh yeah, you were the one time you did show up.
yeah, the one time we did
oh
in this day and age, I feel like we get too many trailers. I mean, how many fucking trailers has
I feel like
Rise of Skywalker had?
it's gotten a lot better where they don't just show you the whole movie.
Yeah,
Depends on who's
doing the
in
trailer
charge of
because
it.
sometimes
That's
they do.
true. If it's like I feel like the quality of the film typically dictates
Yeah. I'm
how
sorry.
much is included.
I think that most movies should be able to survive on 2: a teaser,
Yeah.
where it shows you nothing but basically the title,
Yep.
and 1 trailer.
Well, the problem
The
is
end.
that
That's
like
all you need.
like movie marketing now is like fucking a presidential candidacy running. Like it starts like a year in advance at least, and you have to just maintain that hype with like escalation.
Yeah, it's fine.
That
I
is getting
think,
real mad. He's really not about any of your guys' opinions.
I can tell. I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's about as much as I have. That's about the fuel in my tank for
I think so.
Rouge One. For
Rouge one.
Watch it.
Rouge One. Yeah,
Rouge
go,
One.
Well,
go
I hope
fucking
we've all
watch it.
turned you to mine and Kyle's side, where this is the best fucking movie. Be nice.
I think it's good. I mean, I still think it's a really good film. I think it stands on its own merits, and it did something really cool with building and fleshing out the Star Wars universe in a way that we hadn't really seen before. I think that it isn't without some of its small, things that I personally would have preferred to have done differently, but I don't think in any way it detracts from the film as a whole. So I think it's good. I would still give it my just stiff 7.
I was gonna say, first of all, don't lump me in with these two assholes. I was the third 9 here.
Yeah.
That's true. I know.
Yours was kind of a soft 9, though.
Yeah.
No, mine was a full on like.
It was an unenthusiastic 9.
Mine was a full rock solid, like a little bit leaking out at the top 9.
Yuck.
And now you're sleeping on the couch for that 9. Cool. Got it. Okay.
Johnny.
Thanks for listening,
Ew.
everybody.
Johnny.
Oh yeah,
Please listen again if
yeah.
we haven't driven you away with our terrible opinions about how good Rogue One is.
Could you all do me a favor and just go ahead and smash that like button?
Give us 5 stars on iTunes.
Yelp.
Go to us on Instagram at Moist Boys Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for being here and for listening. And we will catch you next week, where we're going to be coming up with a film that isn't at all controversial in any way
God, no.
whatsoever. The Last Jedi.
Dun, dun, dun.
Love you. Bye.